Hey, RetconRaider here. Today's video is dedicated to the Raiders, the fine folks who help make these videos possible, with special thanks to Revenant, Alois, Anerdinwarpaint, Antonio Hernandez, Dragon Matrix 7, Exsellsior, Lima, Nathan Welch Jr., and Valinrook. Thanks for your support, guys. That said, let's get started. And welcome back to the Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous beta. We've actually got quite a bit on our plate today, so we're going to jump right in. First things first, we have to take care of these level ups. Then we have to go chat with Nenio, get her personal mission all queued up. And after that, we'll head out, see if we can knock out the Nameless Ruins. And maybe take out a demon army or two on our way there. Let's get to it. Alright, so as usual, I have already done dry runs, so I've got a pretty good idea of what we're doing here. And these should be pretty straightforward level ups. Feats and spells for the most part. Maybe one or two new class abilities, but we'll worry about that as we get to it. Skills are skills. We're pretty much locked in at this point, so we're not changing anything. But for our feat, we're actually going slightly off script, and we're going to grab Outflank. Essentially, in Wrath, whenever you're mounted, you are adjacent and flanking with an ally, so teamwork feats like these, as long as you share them with your mount, are always active. We'll be doing something similar with Sela and Layla as well. And then, of course, in keeping with that, Kaiser will also be picking up Outflank as well. He already has Precise Attack. And I should also note that because I changed his archetype, he picked up Bleeding Strike at level 6. Not sure if that really makes a huge difference, but I did want to try it. Aggressor also nets him Power Attack, but at the cost of combat mobility, so there's a definite trade-off there. I did keep Layla as a more conventional build, so she has evasion, combat mobility, all that stuff. Oh, and of course he also hits his growth spurt here. We can ride him. His strength goes up drastically. And he now has Pounce, I believe. We're going to skip the characters we're not using for the beta. I'll take care of them off screen. But we do need Nenio, so she gains another level of Scroll Savant. I believe that's just a feat and some spells. As far as her feat goes, I believe we need to prioritize Precise Shot. That one's pretty much required for any spell that doesn't auto-hit. And I would like to get some use out of her Blinding Ray. As for her spells, she picks up her first two 4th levels. And I think one of those has to be Greater Invisibility. That one's just too useful. But of course, we're also trying to keep her as a combat mage, so let's go for Dragon Breath. That one's pretty versatile, since you get to choose what type of damage it inflicts. Not a big deal, though. We can always fill out her spell book with additional scrolls as needed. And I think that's pretty much it for Nenio. Next we've got Lan, who gets a feat and Key Strike, Cold Iron and Silver, which allows all of his unarmed attacks to count as Cold Iron and Silver. Certainly handy given the nature of the campaign, though I'm not sure if that overlaps with his Key Arrow ability, which allows him to use unarmed damage in place of his arrow damage when using a bow, but I don't know if that also qualifies it for all these other abilities that also enhance his unarmed attacks. I'll have to look into that. As for his feat, they are recommending Clustered Shot and Snapshot, and they're both useful. We do want both of them eventually. But I think we need to start with Clustered Shot, because that one is just more universally useful. Next up we have my man Darren, who gains a new revelation. That would be a buff to his healing powers, I believe. For his feat, we'll obviously grab Precise Shot. Though, honestly, he's so handy with that crossbow that there are times that I would just legitimately forget he didn't already have that. Then we've got his Revelation, and all three of these are honestly pretty compelling. I would normally lean towards Enhanced Cures, but that one overlaps with Boosted Healing, one of the mythic perks I would normally be taking for him. So I think we'll go with Spirit Boost instead. I'm pretty sure that one works with channeling, so in theory in combat, whenever he channels, any uninjured allies would basically gain a hit point buffer for several rounds. As for normal spells, he gains 1 of each level, up to 3, and we've pretty much exhausted all of the curative and restoration spells for level 1 and 2, so we'll just grab some basic combat support magic. And then at level 3... we'll keep him focused on preventative and restorative magic. Actually, let's grab Communal Resistance to Energy. I don't think we have access to that with anyone else. The rest of these are infrequent enough that I think we can spot treat them with scrolls and potions. Next we have Ember, who will be sitting out this next adventure, but we'll go ahead and level her up anyway. I think it's just a feat and more spells. With her feat, I think her two main options here are either Elemental Focus or Greater Spell Penetration. And while the majority of her magic is fire-based, she does have some non-fire spells, so Greater Spell Penetration would definitely have more universal appeal. In a full campaign, we'd also want to start considering meta magic at some point, but I think we can do without it for this run. As for spells, I feel like we have exhausted most of the good options for level 1 and 2. So we'll just start grabbing Mind Affecting and Enchantment spells, since those do often overlap with the gear we're giving her anyway, like the Quarterstaff of Coercion. So I guess that'll be Hold Person. But then for level 3, we want a real spell. And we have a lot of good options here. Heroism jumps out at me right away, but that I think we want to save for Waljiff, because it would immediately benefit from his Enduring Spells mythic ability. Let's see. I was going to go with Lightning Bolt, but that one actually seems like a bad choice in retrospect, because most demons are resistant to lightning. So let's grab Dispel Magic. That's a nice one to have in our pocket. And there's Waljiff. Ooh, he nets an extra die of sneak attack damage. Certainly can't complain about that. As for feats... oh, does he not have weapon focus? Yeah, let's grab that. He's locked to daggers anyway, so we might as well enjoy that +1 to hit. And as for spells... he is primarily a defensive caster, and we want to take full advantage of that Enduring Spells ability. So we are going to prioritize group-wide buffs that get immediately bumped up to a 24-hour duration. As we saw in some of our more recent encounters, those are both spells we'd want to invest in anyway, but having them run all day makes them pretty much mandatory, at least in my eyes. Who do we have left? Ah, Sela, right. And this is an easy one because, although she does have her own paladin stuff going on, she's mostly going to be following the same build as Creed to take full advantage of our twin battle Smilos. So that's outflank. Oh, and we'll have to remember to set all those new spell slots too. Very nice. And the spell books. Let's get that taken care of before I hit that rest button. Now that Nenio can actually hit things in combat, we'll go ahead and invest in some attack roll spells. We'll do 1 row of Snowball. And then level 4, Greater Invis, and a couple of Dragon's Breaths. Looks good. Who else? Who else? Waljeff. Oh, he only gets 2 level 3 slots. So I guess in a full campaign we would want to pick up Abundant Casting for him at Mythic rank 2 or 3. Heroism will have to wait. And Sela gets her first level 2, and that is going to be Greater Aura of Courage. That is a no-brainer. And that's it. We're done. Oh, just 10 minutes. That wasn't too bad. Oh, nice. Which gives us a chance to do some quick crafting. They just added crafting functionality to the camp rest screen, I think 1 update ago. Sadly, we do not have anyone capable of doing potions, but we do have a level 1 scribing kit. Let's do more magic missiles. You can never have enough magic missiles. I wonder what Horgus needs such a huge mansion for. Does he ride from room to room in a carriage? Does he just like the echo? My father can afford a grand mansion for himself, yet your entire tribe working day and night could only afford a single lumber room within it. I can. Working hard to endear yourself with your traveling companions, I say. And there we go. I think we'll ride there in style. Oh, Ember. What are you up to? Hey, little one. They say you can do magic? An old silver-haired fighter sizes Ember up skeptically, apparently baffled to find such a young girl in the middle of the war. He's cradling his wounded arm, which has been hastily bandaged. Can you heal me? Of course. Ember whispers a spell and touches the bloody bandages. Thank you. That's so much better. The soldier rips off the blood-caked rags and strokes the healthy skin underneath them. How old are you? You're only a child. I have a granddaughter at home, just like you. Oh, little girl, how did you end up here? What are you doing here in the thick of it with us? Ember gives him a light-hearted smile. I'm just like you. I came to the thick so the thick wouldn't come to the other kids. Like your granddaughter. Well, I'll be. So little and yet more courage than some officers. The old man runs his rough hand over her hair, and she smiles at him again. The crow on her shoulder rubs its head on his hand, like a cat. Talking to you takes a load off my mind. I reckon it's not just my arm you healed. The soldier leaves, shaking his head pensively. Ember waves happily, then turns around and notices you. Hi! Do they often come to you for help like this? Ember shrugs. Demons keep hurting them, I keep healing them. But, you know, it's surprising. So many soldiers come to me. They say I bring them comfort, that I give them strength. But I don't do anything like that at all. I only talk to them nicely. I'm just a featherbrained little girl. What if something I say is wrong? Maybe I should keep quiet. But I can tell that my words make them feel better. I guess I'm confused. Don't second-guess yourself. You're helping all of us. The soldiers, your companions, and me. You think so? I think I'm just wandering around saying silly things. She taps a scarred finger on her cheek, and then breaks into a smile. All right, it must be true if you say so. Fascinating. Let's get over to Nenio and chat with her, but I might have to do another sweep off-screen just to make sure we didn't miss any other special events like that, because that was pretty interesting. Nenio, where are you? Oh, I see. Ah, boy, there you are. Very good, just in time. You will be delighted to know that I need you for an experiment. So, the great garrison stands roofless. Demons are running for the hills with their tails between their legs. Mendev's queen, what's her name? It's on the tip of my... Ah, yes, Galfrey, is scurrying to and fro, and all this is somehow connected to you, my loyal follower. Thus far, there is no scientific evidence of your exceptionality, if one discounts blind faith in divine intervention, which I do. We, people of science, refuse to believe in the inexplicable without any proof. We are the ones who explain the inexplicable. Nenio punctuates her statement with an energetic sweep of her arm. And therefore, open your mouth and say, "Ah," for me. Sure, but why? Isn't it obvious? I'm going to study you. Come along, don't stand in the way of science. What does my mouth have to do with my new abilities? Perhaps there is no connection, or perhaps there is a direct connection. We'll never know unless we try to find out. Fair enough. Ah. Nenio peers into your mouth with a practiced eye. All right, your throat's fine, tongue looks perfectly normal. Your breath, she sniffs. The smell is in line with the regular functioning of the digestive system. Now for your teeth. She sticks one hand in your mouth and probes each of your teeth in turn, with the skill of a seasoned dentist. No detectable alterations. By the way, did you know that many individuals, while being wholly civilized representatives of their races, still have an amazingly powerful bite? As if suddenly recalling something, Nenio promptly pulls her hand out of your mouth. Are you really trying to find a correlation between fang length and civility? Nenio seems slightly embarrassed. For the good of science, I look for correlations everywhere and in everything. How can you prove there's no correlation if you don't bother to look for one? Sure. Moving on. Alright, what do we have next? Ears. Let's check your hearing. Testing! Nenio yells right in your ear and nods in satisfaction as she observes your reaction. Your hearing is fine. Was fine. But don't worry, it's scientifically proven that it should return to normal soon. Next, Nenio circles you. Eyes are clear, posture is satisfactory, limb length is standard, no lice. She stops, rubs her chin in contemplation, and, in a slightly dejected tone, says, "Boy, you are the picture of health. It's a pity. I was expecting to find some anomaly. Well, now let's assess your mental state. Imagine a hypothetical situation. You are a tree. 2 squirrels have found their way into your hollow and are now copulating there. What do you do?" I'll do precisely nothing, because I'm a tree. An unconscious act of withdrawal along with the lack of trust in your own abilities. Or perhaps just a healthy dose of pragmatism? On to the next question. Another hypothetical situation. You are a tomato. You have just been picked from the vegetable patch and put into a crate. You know that today the cook will use half of the tomatoes from your crate to make soup. What do you do? Okay, well, first of all, tomatoes are fruits, but, yeah, let's change it up a bit. I try to dig deeper into the crate. An unconscious act of rejecting the unspoken rules and laws underpinning the functioning of the universe. Yes, it is all quite clear to me. Rejecting universal rules and behavioral norms, along with a distinct unwillingness to take a firm position in the choice between good and evil. There is something of a trickster in you. Well, that's not quite what I was going for, but yeah, I guess that'll do. On that note, I deem this experiment complete. Thank you for your participation. Nenio looks at you pensively, and then gestures at you with a wide sweep of her arm. And yet you remain a puzzle to me. I love puzzles. One of these days I will solve you completely. Unless I forget. And I guess that's it. Not quite what I was expecting, but I am glad I went through that. Thanks, Nenio. As, random as ever. We've also got Regil over there, and as much as I would like to talk to him, I think we'll refrain, because we will not be using him in this run. Also, I will note, I did end up giving a pet wolf to So-So, but again, we're not going to be using him anymore, so kind of a moot point. Anyway, let's hit the pause button real quick. I'd like to do one last lap around the camp, make sure we didn't miss anything, and do some final expedition prep, and we will be right back. And we are back. We've still got a half hour on the clock, so let's make the most of it. Now let's see. Level 3, but with Brimerax, which could be problematic. Oh yeah, and we are definitely not strong enough to take those guys on yet. A shame though, that is some nice looking loot. And then inversely, these guys are level 1 with a crossbow of judgment. That we can definitely handle. So, you know what? Let's go ahead and get our main legion to take out both of those groups. Free Hell Knights. Okay. Once again, we do not have room for more unit types in our main legion, so we'll just have them group up with the raiders and hope those two don't kill each other. Oh, and I can also hear the UI glitch acting up again. So I'll get that taken care of once we're done moving our armies around. Alright, let's try our luck with these Brimerax. And then we should have enough movement points left over to reach the other group as well. Oh, okay. So a tough fight, but 0 net losses. I am tempted to just accept that auto result. But this is the beta series, so I suppose we should actually do stuff. We'll go manual. Alright, let's thin out those Brimmeracks. And I think that's champions in the back? Yeah. My main concern is that these things might be able to huck fireballs, but I guess we'll find out. Shields up. Okay. So they are actually pretty strong, but we should be fine. Yeah, so just keep trimming down those units. Once you get them down to smaller unit sizes, their attacks pack a whole lot less punch. Gotta keep them off the archers. Shieldmen on point. Very nice. So obviously, they're terrible with offense, but great at durability. And we're pretty much done. That is a much cleaner victory. That really does show that the cold calculations of that auto-resolve feature can have a really wide range. After the battle, one of the soldiers noticed a half-effaced inscription on a nearby stone. What remained of the engraving led the Crusaders to a secluded cave where they found a stash of miscellaneous relics that some selflessly devoted clerics had managed to rescue from fallen Dresden. They also discovered flasks of sanctified oil and boxes of reagents for rituals and sacred masses. It would appear the brave priests hid their sacred artifacts in one final attempt to save them from demonic threat. Plus 25 material, plus 3 energy. So some nice resources that we can use to purchase elite units later down the line. Yeah, we will definitely make good use of that. And then this one should be a much easier fight. So we'll also do this one manual. I mean, I guess we'll do all of them manual because that is kind of the point of this beta series. So wights would have level drain. I don't know how that would translate to a large-scale battle like this. I think it's best if we don't find out. Hold. So they're both pretty resistant to arrow attacks. Which does track, they are undead. Alright, let's push up. Focus fire. And there we go. Okay. Let's drop a quick heal on the footman. Rise from your grave. And somehow even cleaner. A corpse in a tattered scout's cape bearing the emblem of the Crusade was leading the undead squad. He battled on until he ran out of bolts, and desperately tried to conceal his crossbow with his own body, even when the soldiers were hacking off his limbs. Well, that's grim, but we will take that crossbow. Alright, that is 2 more armies out of our path. We'll hold here. And then this. Crossbow of Judgment. This +2 heavy crossbow has a critical range reduced to 20. Whenever it threatens a critical hit against an evil or chaotic creature, it is automatically confirmed. Oh, okay. So that's a nice little trade-off. Reduced crit range in exchange for auto crits on 20. I mean, only against evil and chaotic creatures, but let's be honest, that's going to be 90% of our opponents. I am tempted to give that to Darren, but that would actually push him, I think, into medium encumbrance, so we'll just sit on it for now. No new recruits, so we'll have to keep checking back. That is a terrible price on clerics, but I think these guys swap out every 7 days. And let's get to the Nameless Ruins. We'll fill in this gap on the way there. Or we'll do this. These are some surprisingly well-traveled roads. I am not sure what this is. Could be more drow. Let's get some buffs up.
I'm always open to ideas.
Oh goodness, no. I cannot deal with this. Let's hit the pause button real quick. I'll get this straightened out and I'll get those buffs up too. One moment. Okay. Let us proceed. Ah. I think that's just basic vendor trash. Oh. Ba-bow. Ba-bow, ba-bow. Well, this makes for a great test case for our new mounted combatants.
Always be ready for the worst.
Ah, shoot. Okay. That did not play out the way I wanted it to. I guess we'll just wing it. Nice.
The Inheritor, guide my blade.
Hey, look at that. Tandem attacks and everything. And our teamwork feats are working. Fantastic. I would have liked to do an actual mounted charge, but we'll have to make do. Oh man. That is going to take some getting used to. Oh, nice. And an immediate payoff. Waljeff, man, you're embarrassing us in front of the demon. Yeah, it's it's gonna take me a while to wrap my head around the idea that Creed can actually do stuff now. Wowie, wowie, wow. Took us 40 episodes to get here, but mounted combat. I'm into it. Alright, let's see what's going on here. Note written in neat handwriting. Come to my camp if you want to talk. I have much to share with you. A friend. Drawn on the back of the note is a map with crossed lines, marking a spot. Intriguing. Though also very suspicious given some of our other recent encounters. Let's finish canvassing for loot, and then we will pop back out to the world map. See where this inconspicuous camp is. Huh, I guess that's it. Okay, moving on. So where is this camp? Wait, hold on. Who are these guys? Headhunters. Huh. Well, that's right where we fought the undead scouts. So I guess that was an unmarked part of the reward? That seems really weird. I mean, the shieldmen we received earlier were specifically mentioned to be a gift from Porgus. But these guys, and those random raiders that showed up earlier... Actually, the raiders showed up where we fought the flies. So it does appear that there are random squads that will just join your army when you complete certain events. I have no idea what triggers that. That is really weird. Oh, and the UI thing is acting up again. I thought I took care of that. There's our camp, too, so I guess we'll be hitting that before we head to Heaven's Edge. But first... Nameless Ruins. The unknown ruins that currently remain seem to date back to the time of Sargeras, It is one of the few places that has not changed since the opening of the World Wound. Alright, let's refresh some buffs real quick.
My tail is restless.
I think that'll do. Now, I don't know if we actually have enough time to finish this whole location, but we'll try to take a big chunk out of it. Soso's quest was surprisingly deadly, so it's really going to come down to what kind of opponents they throw at us. Oh boy, okay. So they are not going easy on us, as we saw recently. You do not want to underestimate these ghouls with actual class levels. Let's do this. Not great. That was one hit out of 3 attacks. But we do have surprise, so we've got some wiggle room. Oh my goodness. I'm sure we'll be fine.
Out of my sight!
Nenio, what can we do with you? Oh. Well, apparently nothing, because she actually does not have enough range. So if we were going to use her on a more regular basis, we would want her to invest in, like, meta magic reach. Because there is a mythic feat that reduces the cost of a meta magic feat of your choice by 1. I feel like that would be a pretty good investment for her. After abundant spells.
You should have listened to reason.
Oh, and now it is on. Huh. Oh, my. Oh. Well, those are some pretty solid results, but I feel like the game got slightly confused. With Pounce, Layla should have gotten 2 attacks, and Seela should have gotten 1, but it reversed. Creed, show us what you got. That will do. And see, this time, the attack distribution was right. Wow, look at those damage numbers from Kaiser. That is crazy. Clearly, we have officially removed the limiters from our Smilodes.
I will see to your demise.
Oh, yes. Now, let's slap down a slow spell. Okay, not bad. That's about a 50% hit rate. Oh, and I like that they actually have an aura on the targets you affected. That does make it easier to keep track of. Layla, you forgot to attack.
Into the fray!
Yeah, so they clearly have some kinks to work out there. Light tap on Layla. Nice.
Stab you or zap you? Why not both?
Goodness, we are just mulching these guys. Also, I just realized some of these guys are having some issues with their animation. Yes, good. Either that, or they have gone full-on body horror, because that is very unsettling.
The light, take you!
Oh, good. Nice, yes. So if the mount or rider kill their target, then the other one will automatically switch off to any other viable targets nearby. That is good to know.
Distract them for me.
Lovely. That was a calculated gamble, and it looks like it paid off.
The Inheritor, guide my blade!
You've crossed the wrong mongrel.
My. Minor quirks aside, I am loving the mounted combat. I mean, I guess that's not the most intellectually stimulating commentary, but what else can I say? I'm just being consistently blown away by how effective Creed and Seela have suddenly become. Aha, I see. Let's get our guys into a better charging spot. They've got a leg up on us, but I think we can take them. Oh wow, nice. That's 4 of them. Focus. Lovely. Please stop that. That is very unnerving. And that's what you get. We'll take that 5 gold worth of loot. And this pile of garbage. Though it does look like the ghouls were feasting on a fairly recent victim. Also, what is this? Circle, square, circle. I will try to remember that. Ah, here we go. This looks promising. Oh. Plague Smilo. Okay. Let's see if we can knock out those traps before we aggro this thing. Wait. Stealth, please. Wait, why can you not? Why are you not? Oh, I guess they're automatically in stealth as long as they're invisible. Sure, I guess that makes sense. I mean, in an actual tabletop game, you'd still want to worry about noise discipline, but that's fine.
Pretty good, aren't I? Fine.
Let's get a clean charge line.
You won't survive me.
That is a nice opening salvo. Hey, you have a decent charge, too.
Oh, thank you for amusing me.
Hi. What's going on there? Ah, right, oppressing gloves. I forgot I even had those. Nice. And Layla with a follow-through. Okay. Neato. Oh, okay. Looks like charging broke. We can fix that. There we go. So yeah, still a bit rough around the edges, but net gain. Atta girl. Better late than never. Oh goodness, we killed them so hard they became spindly nightmare monsters. That is actually kind of hard to look at. Oh, here we go. Cloak of Cleansing. Headband of Vast Intelligence +2. Midnight Soup. And Elven Notes, okay. So that is definitely new. In the previous builds, the Elven Notes were really hard to come by. Those are the items you need to collect for the Storyteller. Sadly, I don't think he actually shows up again for quite a while. Headband goes to Nenio in the short term, Waljif long term. This Cloak of Resistance +2 additionally grants the wearer a +2 bonus on savings throws against compulsion and disease effects. Not too shabby. I think we'll give that to Kaiser. Which actually does leave us with a spare +1 cloak, so that will go to Lan. Now he just needs a shirt. Midnight Soup. Remnants of the Ghoul's Feast. The scattered remains are sickening to look upon. The ghouls clearly ate their fill. Fortunately, they were not interested in the jewelry left on the bodies. Ring of Protection +2, fantastic. Wow, we are finding some really nice gear all of a sudden. Sadly, the Smilos cannot wear rings, so that'll just have to go to one of our backup companions. Alright, folks, I think we've cleared the cave. And we've also run a bit long. We're coming right up on the hour mark, so I think this makes a good place to call it. I was hoping we'd knock out the whole Nameless Ruins area, but that unplanned encounter, and the incident with Ember back in camp, those both kind of knocked me a bit off of my intended schedule. Which is fine, they were both very intriguing, and I'm glad that we triggered them. That said, we will hit the pause button for now. I will get this episode packed up and online, and we'll pick up here next time, as we finish exploring the Nameless Ruins, and then go check out that inconspicuous camp, see what's going on with that. And of course, we will continue moving ever closer towards Dresden. See you then. Oh, and remember, although I do love playing Pathfinder, Wrath of the Righteous, you can find out more about the game by visiting the official website, the official social media feeds, or the official store pages. And if you'd like to help support the channel, then feel free to push the buttons that do the things, or maybe even check out the Patreon. Links are in the description.